more comfortable with. Problem is, so's Aurora. This is going to be an interesting test. You can't use an excuse in the veto for either team. So I think it's up for Liquid to show us what they've got. We're expecting them to continue to gel as they get more time here with Shuei. And certainly, there is still that asterisk for Aurora that even though they've got a couple days now, you'd imagine... Look, they're pros. They're probably some of the best players in the world at dealing with rapid travel. But there is still that element of how much of a whiplash turnaround they've had from Astana. See if we see any signs of that fatigue. 4 players are set up here towards A, so it's a good read early on. Going to be Wakadia as that early warning system. As Naf comes around the corner. And finds himself a fight. Wakadia, though, finds himself a headshot jumping around from Shuei, but now everybody's here. The trap has been activated, and that they know. Might be able to sneak a bomb plant here if they go fast, but battling into this plays into Aurora's hands. Antares. Pluck one away, falls to ultimate. And he is shot in the back of the head. Jota coming around at just the right moment.
I can't blame you for slipping up there, Mike.
It's been a while still, but it is, they were EF for so long that my brain still wants them to be.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. But either way, Aurora doing a great job here over towards mid. Zantares taking the swing, double swing with his teammate in order to shut down that attempted push. Then when you take one prong out of the attack, you only have one direction to look in, and they absolutely take care of everything in the apartments. Even though that first engagement was a little bit scary for them, Liquid really didn't have a second push after that prong at mid gets taken down. So we have second round of play. Force Spy going to come through for Liquid. Twists, who we highlighted in the pregame, a player that has had a nice resurgence for the squad in terms of his fragging. They'll be leaning on him for sure here, especially on Inferno, where they've had their struggles. Smoke's going to get tossed. And that's for Arch side. And Liquid already have some bracket control. That Incendiary is going to make life a little difficult for them, but eventually they'll be able to move out here. The problem is there are 3 players waiting for them on A.
You can see Maja's already starting to get a little antsy, clearing out Banana, taking his space. That flank will come through quickly, but Jota dead. Well, this is going to get interesting, because if they test the smoke, oh, it's actually going to be a B-split. Zantares is coming back to deal with this. But he might get overwhelmed. 3 players on. Zantares gonna need to be snappy on this aim. And here comes the swing. He's overwhelmed. Now Maja's in a really tough spot. The bottom Banana player and Nerds can start to activate. You still have this threat of Twist, but Twist cleaned up, and Maja holding the line with the MP9. Flashbang's good. He thought he might have had all 3. But there should be the chance at the bomb plant. They're gonna have to go quick on it. Naf has a Molotov. They have a smoke for Nerds as well. Can section off these vision. That's nicely done. Molly behind the smoke to absolutely guarantee it. Naf needs to get this bomb down now.
Oof, that's a little late for the bomb to go down, but it's okay because the smoke is guising things off. Wakadia looking over the smoke, catches Naf, and now it's all up to Nerds, and he falls as well. Great work from Wakadia, but we can't forget Majer at the beginning of this round, or I should say the midway point of the round, waiting at top Banana and knowing so much is coming towards him. He's still able to stand up, do a ton of damage to the third, which honestly it felt like he had, and afterwards it makes this retake a lot more viable. Great work from Liquid at the beginning to crack through. You get that frag onto Pit, and then you decide to rotate over into Arch and gain that space in the CT, but at the end of the day, it is Aurora managing to hang on and fend off this Force Spy.
The 2 kills there. If he goes 1 for 1, like there's a world where they don't even attempt it. It's so tough. So massive individual moment for Majer. Had to do it after Zantares gets lost with no damage, with no kills rather. Had to be the backstop there. So I think Liquid are going to feel pretty good about the way that came out, and they go back into the Force Spy as a result. So this is interesting now. They've shown a predilection for this, chasing the forces, thinking if they can crack through, and if they can just get 1, surely the economy will be in trouble here for Aurora, but you do get into this situation where you're chasing what you've done as opposed to what might be. And that can lead to a bevy of rounds. Kadia finding some damage, if no kill just yet, puts Naf on notice.
Notably, Liquid right back into the Force Spy, which I've been seeing a lot more in the meta recently. When you have that CT economy on notice, you try to keep pushing it over on the T side, even if it's 2 Force Spies in a row. now they're just looking for that opening, looking for that space, but not really finding it towards top mid or bracket. So they're going to fake a smoke towards Moto and then lean into the B side to try and attract more attention to A. And it's keeping those 3 players on A for the time being.
Explode on towards the site. Santar's overwhelmed. This time, Major might be in trouble. Wakadia comes into support, but this is through the smoke, and now a headshot landed. This could be the breakthrough that Liquid were looking for. Wakadia tries to hold the line, but Ultimate's got the edge. That Galil kill might just descent it. A 2v4 on the retake. The nade doesn't find one of the low HP players, and this is an AWP. This is value. Want to attempt the retake. Jota just around the corner. Finds the new box player.
Oh.
But Twist can trade it. And Woxic, he's running out of time. Doesn't have a kit. The rotation from Naf. Naf is all the way on the other side of the world. Oh boy.
I can expect this.
Better get a move on, but yeah, back out. And now an AWP to be claimed. Expect the unexpected. Naf could have left a window for that defuse, but by risking it all, it comes good.
Yeah, honestly, a really good round overall from Liquid. You have the initial engagement towards mid to attract the attention of Aurora in that direction. So they then throw that smoke in for Moto, just keeping those 3 players on that A site, keeping them wondering what's happening as they immediately rotate around towards Banana to go for their execute. And then the execute's beautiful. I mean, you get the frags you have to, a couple of trades in the mix there. And after that, the hold, of course, even better. They managed to fend off Aurora enough in order to get things in doubt for that last player, and then the last rotation from CT. How could you possibly expect that? He thinks the player's on the site.
We got the double up flower pots here.
Wow.
Growing some tall flowers out of these.
I love this play, though. Just, it's...
Peer right over any smoke that might come through.
It's a big commitment manpower-wise, though.
Santaras. Destroyed. 1 for 1 there, but it's Santaras down. You're going to take that exchange every day of the week. Question becomes Jota. Smoke to block. This is the smoke he wants to peer over. They're never going to expect it on the check. Now they know this setup is rumbled, but somehow none of the bullets on that spray find home. And a flashbang back through the 5-7 is devastating. Falls to Shuei to pick up the pieces. His teammates left scattered on the ground, and he could do no such thing.
Man, talked about what a commitment it is manpower-wise to go for that double stack up on flower pots, but when everyone's coming that way, it doesn't really matter. Jota gets the opener, and then Woxic walks through with 2 5-7 frags, grabs the op, and gets the last as well. That is such a good sequence. Shuei made it interesting in the middle part because he did manage to slip through that site throughout all that chaos to get a couple of frags, but then they have all the information, they know where he is, and you saw the result at the end. So, wow, good gamble from Aurora, and they've got the lead, 2-round lead once more.
I really appreciate this timeout coming through from Fabra. This is you need to breathe some air into this. We are in the mess of the Force Spy Wars. We are in the mess of just chaos Counter-Strike right now, and so just taking a moment to breathe, to put some time in for your teammates to talk about what they want to bring through. Liquid want to get in there. Liquid want to get right back in there. It is interesting to look at the coaching situation they've got going on behind them. You've got Demars Darova, Jay, as he's known. He's been their analyst for a long time. Comes from a data science background, comes from the analytics background. They've talked about him as their secret weapon in the past. He's a real genius brainiac type of guy. So you know they're going to be playing the percentages with him in the coaching role, and Ultimate has just found a nice percentage opener. 5v4 here, Nate to chase, but nothing conclusive off of that. Now they've established top B. They've got Major out of play, and look at how much focus they've drawn from Aurora. Liquid don't seem like they want to give this up.
If they go back A, they have a free site. They don't have a clue about that just yet. The problem is if Jota gets towards bottom banana, then you're hemmed in and you have to fight your way out of it. But right now, Jota's not really sure which direction he wants to go in. Now he's clearing out alt mid. eventually, well, they're going to engage towards top banana anyway. Nertz is going to get that opener onto Acadia. Woxic looks for a follow-up and does find it. There are the frags coming through, and at the end of the chaos, Woxic, still hits a shot as he was pretty much down to dirt, no questions asked. So makes it a 1v2 clutch for Jota.
Gonna be able to make sure that he can't be on them while they plant this bomb into their post plants. He's got to smoke Molly Flash. If he identifies these spots, I mean, this is going to be a tough one. Ultimate's got to swing. Ultimate's got to swing. And Jota plays that to perfection. Now the 1v1, but twists on the angle, not missing. Secures them the round. These rounds have come down to the thinnest of margins, but an AWP taken through once again, and a liquid dub means that it is pressure back onto Aurora. They cannot escape this force by spiral.
Yeah, it seems like we're going to go back into it, of course, once more. Just right here, I mean, the fact that Woxic even hits that is nutty, but eventually overloaded, and great job from Liquid. Just bringing the numbers towards the B site. Didn't really hesitate at all. In those moments, you might say, oh, maybe we should rotate back, Tay. Maybe we should try something here. No, they commit themselves. They go right in, get the frags, do the job. And even though it comes down to a 1v1, Twist is good for it. Oh, and they spot it towards top. And here, Shue is going to get the opener on Jota. This is madness. Wacadia actually gets a response on towards Naf. Now they're rotating around as Shue finds one more on the fadeaway.
Look at the health, though. Look at the health. If there was one more HE available for Liquid there, that would have been like a 3-kill nade. Oh, boy. I like the idea behind the stack up, but you are putting players in the exact spot that a lot of utility tends to flow. So it was a hell of a risk for Aurora, maybe thinking that Liquid would change up their util set if they thought it was an eco, trying to catch them off guard. I can see the idea. Obviously didn't quite go to plan here.
It's still not over, but the health bars.
Look at this push out. Look at this push out from Woxic.
Yeah.
Woxic spotted. How is he alive? How is he alive? He has no health. They just saw him. That has to have been a spot from Twist. We weren't actually on board, but they should know.
I'm not sure.
How would he have possibly timed this? They're looking for the flank. They're looking for it. They're looking for it. They're looking for it. They have the awareness. There it is.
Okay.
Shuhei catches. Zantaras will find Nertz, but they've got the right sight. This bomb's going to go down. I would imagine that they're going to pick up Nertz's gun, and this is going to turn into a save for the two players because they have nothing to really get stuck back into a retake. They certainly don't have the kits. They don't have the util. And yeah, Wukadia is going to go grab a rifle or an MP7 as the case may be. And they're going to have something to fight in the next. But we are finally seeing 2 rounds in a row for Liquid, which should mean, John, that we are finally seeing the end of the Force Spy Wars.
Should. Depends on what Aurora can save. And yeah, it's not.
I'm going to say will.
Yeah. MP9 or MP7 and an MP9. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably just going to be those 2 guns carried forward, and then they're going for the eco. Yeah, they're nice. I think that's what Wacadia is trying to highlight.
He's just, you know, beating out a beat. Make some tunes. A hymnal, perhaps, in the church.
I mean, it's just a nice little boost up on top of barrels there for Liquid. And I mean, Aurora didn't really have a response, that utility barrage that was coming through from Liquid, and just so much damage taken in the early round that they didn't have the luxury of even trying to challenge back towards that A site. They attempted to stack on B and said, hey, if it happens to come here, that's it. But if it doesn't, we just save, and that's exactly the case. So, some upgrades come through. In fact, only one. It's a 5-7 for Jota. Everything else is as expected. It is the eco. Money's just not healthy enough to continue forcing, especially on that CT side. Twist, opening duel, looks the wrong way. Santera is playing right in front of that boiler entrance. He takes advantage with the off angle, and now he's looking for more. Can't get another one, though. Naf, the instant trade.
My shot's out from Naf, who's been looking a little sharp. It's been a tough year for him as an individual.
Yeah.
Not usually the player you expect to slump from, but it's been distinctly slumpy. Ooh, Ultimate's in danger here. Ultimate's in danger. He's been left alone. Eyes on the angle. That's the bomb. That's a problem. Even if they take the A site now, the C4's compromised. So they have to go back for it. And now players bunched up on site playing whack-a-mole over the boxes. That's how you want to field the pistols. No. And this is a big blunder now for Liquid. They bail out. They find the right escape route. Parachute cord pulled. Now it's going to send them in towards B. And Wakati has come off of this to try and find the conclusive flank. But instead now, They will have a chance to defend this C4. Still a big misread of the presence there for Liquid. Giving an opportunity over now. Nades a little early. So it's not quite as impactful as it could otherwise be. There's still 2 unarmored players. 3 unarmored players, rather.
No.
But now it is just a wounded Nertz. How many can he collect on this face? First one down. Looking for more. On the brawl, Nertz only good for the 1. And that means we are going right back into the blender.
Wakadia with a little bit of the BM at the end of
Deserved.
it. You'll love to see it. 2K for him, 2K for Jota. I mean, just, you're right. They overlooked Boiler completely. There was an AK down there. Jota's like, okay, well, this is a nice little Christmas present that I'm going to grab here. And then, early Christmas present, very early. Jota gets that frag towards Arch side and then immediately swings into apartments to find Shue. That's a beautiful sequence right there. And it just completely disrupts the attempted take from Liquid. They try to readjust themselves mid-round and go to the B side, which is the correct call. The problem is they've just lost too much manpower and given too many guns over to Aurora. Even without the armor, you have 3 players coming down on you. It's not going to be easy to survive, and you saw that for Nertz. He just gets 1, but eventually overloaded. Actually, not even sure he got 1, but either way, that's a great round from Aurora. And again, just the eco and the saved SMGs. That's it. It's a huge boost to their economy.
A massive one. Nertz dips his toes in the flames at logs for reasons. He'll find himself a little bit cooked. And look, I mean, if Liquid can continue this trend, it will ultimately wind up being okay for them. But as we saw, they finally had a chance to get off the wild ride. And Aurora just yanked them right back on. So it puts enormous pressure on Liquid to be able to field this force by somehow. To success, they found the light sight. They've got the right idea. Wakadia playing on the edge of the smoke. This is interesting. Has he been spotted? No, not able to get these kills. And now in the pit, Jota needs to deliver a multi. He'll do exactly that. Pixel perfect on the spray. Jota holds strong here from the pit. And now he's got support just on the edge of this moto smoke. A flank coming through, but Jota needs no help. 4 kills all his own. And Ultimate, a desperate plant here to at least secure money to keep them going on the Liquid side. But this one's looking all Aurora. Moto player activates. Ultimate has a chance. He's looking for the headshot. Major knife out, trying to bait time for Woxic to get through, but Major will finish this off himself.
Wow, you know, Major realized the situation he's in, right? So he's trying to peek around and get that fight and win it, and eventually does, but Woxic was right around the corner, so he just had to survive and bait out a few more shots a little bit longer. Either way, it all works out for the best for Aurora, and they shut down Liquid on their force buy. So perhaps we'll see the end to the force buy wars again, maybe only momentarily, if Liquid might be able to get some eco round magic of their own, or maybe they'll be baited into going again because there's only 2 players left standing on the Aurora side. So I would argue no, though, because Aurora's been able to stabilize their economy because of the eco round victory before, and they're still perfectly healthy. I mean, they got guns across the board, and yeah, Liquid realized that as well, and they will just get the upgraded pistols and a little bit of util to work with. They're already engaging a little bit towards Banana, but that might not be wise because they have a huge disadvantage in terms of the belt of utility.
Through the smoke, into the crosshair. Might catch the timing on the reloads. Antares probably doesn't want to overstay his welcome, but resetting, allowing himself just the easy headshots coming through. Nicely played. Last few bullets in the gun. Plex twists. And this one's a non-starter for Liquid. They thought they had bought themselves the space out of the force buys. Instead, anything but. It'll be Aurora stacking on a 6th round here on the CT side, on the defense. Putting Liquid in a really tough spot. If you're looking for a hint here, this is not happening.
All right, well, Major caps it off there. And it will be Aurora picking up that 6th, and really straightforward. As I mentioned, not having that utility and going for the banana fight against a full util against CTs when they have full belts of util across the board, it's not going to end well, and it doesn't there for Liquid. But of course, it's just an eco, so they can forget about that one and bring the guns out here. Going to be 3 AKs, 2 Galils. Timeout called though by Liquid to talk things over before they get going here. I think one thing that's worked well for them, or did work well for them in the early goings, that one fake that they pulled off, right, where they attracted the attention with the smoke, and I think a couple of flashbangs towards the A site kept Aurora guessing where they were going to go, and then readjust themselves to B site. That's really what you got to do on Inferno to find success. You have to make sure your hits aren't telegraphed, and I think what's becoming a problem for Liquid is they are becoming very one-dimensional in terms of their executes.
Yeah, and if there's a tendency that we could see the punish, Aurora are very eager to get on towards those down banana flanks, and at times it leaves the gap if they can find arches to slip through on towards a lighter defended B. This round, Liquid do not want the early fight on banana. That's going to be the adjustment. They're going to let Aurora brawl. And then maybe go for a little late control. And that's what Nerds is doing now. Taking up the room, taking up the round. But Aurora had the same idea. Playing a much more default look. Not going for the full-on brawl. Just shoulder peek and gets himself some information, but walks it, can't land his shot. It's Nap instead for the punish, looking for the second. That's too much to ask.
Still damage.
Damage is done, but Jota has been ferocious. So that would be a scalp you would love to have early. Smoke's getting thrown for that long wrap here on A. And that's going to pull over the presence. You can see Zantares has floated. It's just Majo here in defensive B, but he's got a full belt of util to do it. No smoke, though. And as Twist gets cleaned up, now he knows that Incendiary is just a stall. Nades to punish. He's dumping the util HE after HE. And this one might find home. Smoke pop on. Another one available. Liquid are thinking, how many nades does this guy have? Another one. They gave him all of the HE grenades. But the bomb still finds its way down. And there is a man advantage here. But at least those nades have been expended. There's no more util for Liquid. They cannot shut off any of these choke points. The kill on the banana player is going to be critical. If Jota picks his timing right here, it could be the dagger in the back to finish off this site defense. And here it comes. Antares finds the one. Now they're looking away. That's exactly when the flank activates. No mercy. You just can't look the right way if you're Liquid, and Aurora continue the streak of rounds.
Honestly, that's just such a picture-perfect retake coming through from Aurora. Like, what can you do if you're Liquid? I did appreciate what Liquid did in that round. It was exactly what I talked about, right? They send a little bit of presence towards that A site. Naf gets the opener on the lurk and then eventually gets traded, but still they try to commit one more player in. The smoke for Moto again. They get 4 players on Aurora rotating towards the A site, which is fantastic. It just, unfortunately for them, they couldn't get any more out of that last player left towards the A site. But they immediately go into B. They gain that space regardless of Major having literally 4 grenades to throw at that smoke and pop it. They don't expose themselves. The problem in that round was when you go for the fake with the utility being a little more limited, you don't really have much for the post plan. In fact, nothing at all. And they were ripe for the picking as Aurora still had some util available for them. Now they're going to come back in. They got a couple of Mac 10s, 2 Tech 9s, and Deagle, and they're trying to overload here towards Library. Ricadia under a lot of pressure, but he still collects one and does a ton of damage to Ultimate. He knows a player's trying to swing him, so he's going to try and catch him off. That is Twist, and Twist cannot do any further damage.
Yeah, totally stymied here. Totally stumped. Look at the health remaining. Naf gone. Connected a shot at the least, but this is going from bad to worse for Liquid. Let's see if there can be some magic Deagle play here. Twist, a hell of a shot on the Tech 9. That would be the first element, but look at this flank on short. Wakadia has ended it. Jota comes along with him, and it's just not happening here. It's smiles for Aurora. Messy at the beginning, but they emerged from it so clean, and now they have stacked together a brilliant defensive half of Inferno. And a reminder, in case you're just joining us right now, this is Liquid's map pick.
Yeah.
The T sides were what Shuei was brought in to fix. Big part of it. It's not going so hot.
It's a tough one. And then we go on to Aurora's map, pick up Dust 2, which I still think Liquid will have a chance on, but yeah, this is already proving to be quite rough here for the Liquid side. Look, they got one more round here, make it 8-4, at least it's something, salvage one more round, but so far, Aurora have had their number, and then Zateris, the opening pick at Banana, the util keeps sailing in, and Major lines up to and knocks him down. 5v2 in favor of Aurora. Naf manages to get one back here, Mike, but he's already deleted as well, and Twist might soon follow.
Hero play required. There was a time for Twist to shine. He's got the time. He's got a minute on the clock. But there is so much work to do. An overextension here from Wakati, though. Works out beautifully. Because Twist is looking the wrong way at the wrong time. Wary, paranoid about where he could be coming from. And the bullet will find his back all the same. Some early excitement, but I think a whole lot of dissatisfaction there for Liquid on the tail end of that half, as it was all Aurora. Once they got the stable guns, once they got a couple rounds in a row, they put Liquid in the rear view mirror, and they sped on through to a very dominant start here on Inferno.
Yeah, I mean, there was a round here and there for Liquid coming through, right, where they managed to crack through to a bomb site and make it interesting. But even in that one post plant we saw in the latter part of the half, they got there. It was great at the point of getting to that point, but then they didn't leave themselves enough utility to really work with to defend their post plant effectively. And one thing that Aurora's done really well, at least did really well on their CT side, is they didn't give Liquid the space, right? When they started to find something with those pistols and we thought something was materializing, immediately there's a flank developing and there's nothing they could do. That moment of hesitation costs them multiple times.
Yeah, super active, super in your face. The individuals are sharp right now. You wouldn't believe they were in Kazakhstan 2 days ago. Oh, yeah. Wakadia, Jota looking dialed in here. Meanwhile, the stars, somewhat missing for Liquid, not bringing the same firepower. Nerds in particular, as that B presence, has had a tough time of it. Let's see if he can do better here on the defense. Dancing around coffins, desperately looking for a headshot. Shui's trying to make some noise. Oh, thought he found a gap. Thought he found some space, but it was all a trap. Nerds can't punish. And this one's over before it even begins. Twists, what kind of magic do you have for us right now? What's next in your bag of tricks? Out of bullets, out of chances, out, perhaps, of Inferno.
Just out-aimed as well on that B site. I mean, Aurora just walking in, taking all the fights and winning every single one. Yes, Nerds gets a singular frag, but by that point, you know, the entirety of Aurora is barreling down in his direction. Just nothing that Liquid could do there. Even getting cut off in the attempted rotations, right, from mid. Yeah, this is starting to trend very heavily. I mean, it already has, but it's even more so now with Aurora picking up that pistol round in their favor. So now the force buy is back for Liquid. Did see some success. That's really the only real success we saw from Liquid, was the force buy back and forth.
Yes, but this is an all-in move, right?
Yeah.
This is an all-in move. You lose here, you're playing against overtime. So you're going to try and get done with the Scouts and the Deagles. And they went for the heavy presence on B, and that is not the direction that Aurora ought to go. And with the wrap out towards Moto and Arch, this is going to take even longer for Liquid to realize that the stack is headed their way. This is big trouble. They're all in. This should not be possible. Interesting that Wakati actually backs out here. A smoke in at the wrong time. Now the scout can snap around, but the aim is just too crisp. Headshots on deck. And no chance for Liquid to get into this. An insta-save call. 11 on the board for Aurora. This train has no brakes.
I'm just surprised Liquid in this round go for, I don't want to say a standard setup because you have 3 players sitting on B, so it's a little outside of the meta. But at the same time, why 2 players over in mini pits stacked up with each other with no information as to where Aurora is setting up? So Aurora has all the time in the world, like, okay, we'll put 3 players here, 2 players here, pincer in, and there's absolutely no chance once the jaws of Aurora snap down on towards that A site. And it is an 11th picked up for them. Even going to chase down these last bodies. My goodness. Ruthless.
No guns for you. None whatsoever. A nice money maker for Wakadia. He's having fun chasing these pistols down. It is just all smiles all day. He's a funny guy. I remember when they first joined the team, when he first was brought over, he was the one young guy with a crew of veterans. Now he's got Jota along with him, right? But they said he doesn't feel pressure. He's not your standard young gun.
That's a good point.
Now I don't know if that's still true. I think he's probably had some pressure moments since then, but he is very much that lighthearted presence. They can always find something to smile about on the server.
That's always a good thing to have. You need that positive guy, no matter the circumstances. You know, if it's going badly, you need someone just be like, hey guys, whatever, let's go. Let's get it going once more, even if it's not looking great. So it kind of...
I think I'm not looking great.
Yeah, well, maybe Liquid needs that right now, essentially, is what I was getting to.
Chips have once again been pushed all the way in. This time, though, Naf find the first bluff. A second as well. Jota overlooks the tuck in Boiler. Suddenly, there might be signs of life here. There's a pulse for Liquid at the very least, but all these players are stuck in apps. So as that Molotov goes down, perhaps they could just be avoided, but Ultimate swings into it. Puts it all on black, and it comes up for him. Loses track of Zantares, and we know Zantares can still bring these rounds through. Sumishue to occupy a position on A. Nertz has shown face, so now he wants to back away. Shue on the fight, though. These fights isolated. That's not how you want to deal with Zantares. The Turkish Terminator here has identified his targets, has ripped their heads from their shoulders, and now he only needs one more. So the dream for Liquid might be quieting because Zantares has his crosshair on the right line, but Nertz, the faster trigger pull. Time for the defuse, little celebration, a moment to breathe, perhaps. No util there.
Really? Sorry.
But a defuse on, and Liquid, they find their way to one more.
All right, Nerds. The BM going after us. I mean, you're down 11-4. I guess you want to try and get your team pumped up a little bit.
I think that was just reflex to swap to the AK, even though he already had the AK.
I don't know.
Muscle memory right there.
Either way, fourth round going to come through here. For Liquid, Zantares played it so well. I mean, isolating the 1v1s, the patience not to really panic and go for anything too crazy. And then he sets himself up well for the 1v1, just a little bit faster on the trigger as Nerds. So finally something swinging Liquid's way, but you can't feel too confident about that because it was a 1v4 that almost slips through your fingers. So Aurora still have to be feeling good here. And Zantares says, hey, what are you doing here? Why are you charging down Banana? Nerds does get the response. So it will be a 4v4. Aurora going to readjust off of that. A lot of manpower committed for Liquid in the early round over towards the B site, but that probably is going to change shortly with Aurora backing off.
There's an element of this for Liquid where we're not going to use the big C word just yet, but if you can get a few rounds where you're hitting your shots, where Nertz is maybe waking up and finding his form, that would bode well for the rest of the series. Sometimes a cosmetic, I'm going to use the word cosmetic comeback, can still help the team overall in the BO3. Woxic not finding a shot there. It's a tight angle, tricky one to hit. So they are going to cede a lot of space here, though Jota sticks around to be that kicker. In the meantime, they're headed B. And it's just Nerds with a quickly dwindling utility belt. Good to a one on Jota. When did they read that that was the lurk? When does the rotation come through? Ultimate sticking around, but its presence headed towards B. Right now, Nertz knows he needs to hold the line. Flashbang on, can't find the kill. Tried to dodge it, but mistimed. And now the bomb planted in a 3-on-3 with no retake util to speak of. One flashbang to get them through a choke point. And Major wants a killing blow. He's already taken up the angle towards Church. Thinks better of it. Flashbang through. Flashbang catches. Kills on. But Woxic still very much the enforcer. And now Ultimate, no crosshair of his own, no scope of his own, rather, has got to do it all with the AK. Trying to chase down one of these kills, but Major has already rerouted and funneling into that op. Woxic will be happy to stand and deliver.
Yeah, they didn't really put any pressure on Woxic there, did they? I mean, he's had the opportunity to peek around once, twice, and then backs off and waits for the fight to come to him at the last because it's a 2v1 at that point. I like the effort from Jota. At least he does a little bit of damage and keeps those players towards the A site and absolutely keeps them guessing as to where the final hit will come. They isolate the 1B player out, and then Woxic works his magic, honestly. Given too much space, and he will absolutely punish you every time. 12-4 in favor of Aurora, and here comes the last stand for Liquid. 3 MP9s and 2 Deagles. Nap does get one charging down mid. Major immediately finds the trade, and Nap will keep going. At least he gets a couple here and makes things interesting, but they've still got so much to work on here on the defensive side and very little. Oh, Twist, nice shot. Oh, Twist, okay.
Oh boy. Magic on the Deagle. Russell Van Dolken making this interesting, keeping this one in the realms of possibility. Woxic will attempt the clutch. Picking the right side. It's just Ultimate with 6 health to fend a bomb plant here. But guns can now be gained. An upgrade on. That's going looking. And they're beginning the reroute, knowing what might be coming. Ultimate's just going to play tucked as much as possible. Walksix made the noise now. They certainly do know. The element of surprise is gone, and Walksix operating as if he doesn't expect the player on the site itself. They're distracting with the bullets as well, and so Ultimate finds an unsuspecting target. Liquid are not dead yet.
Okay, so we saw a nice round from Twist finally coming through and having an impact there with the Deagle. And you saw it. I mean, it felt like it was leaning Aurora's way, but Twist missed the first one, good for the second, and then does the body shot damage to Zantares. And after that, I mean, this is great work, right? The distraction, you mentioned it, coming through from the smoke. It makes Ultimate's position even more potent in that 3v1, and Liquid absolutely play it right that time to upset a round away from Aurora. It's still such a tall hill for them to climb. 7 rounds in a row required just for overtime. At least for Liquid, the money is a little bit drained out of the bank accounts for Aurora, but they don't even care. They're feeling confident, so they're going to force up 3 MAC-10s, 2 Tech-9s, and that means we're probably in for a very quick hit towards this A site, especially with the limited utility.
Smoke up. Naf can be first contact here, trying to block these, just trying to disrupt the setup a little bit. Find himself a bit of an edge, and he does indeed. Players with nades out, not expecting someone to be on the angle, but Naf still can only turn that into 1. And Zantares through Twist, unsuspecting of the jump out. It's a mess here on site, and it falls to Nerds, but he's found the first. Time for Wakadia to plant. Nerds wants to play with his expectations as Wakadia comes looking towards Shirt. Nerds starts to slip around. He's thinking Wakadia might just try and leave. And he's going to. But not the direction that you would expect. Wakadia's up in the apartments. They're each trying to anticipate the other's moves. It's shadow boxing right now. So Wakadia will eventually have to go for the drop down. And he's exposed. He's spotted. How is he not killed there? How does that shot not find home? Flashbang on the face, but Nerds will have it on the second dip.
Wow. That was absolute pandemonium in the opening moments of that execute, right? I said they were going to go fast. They absolutely do, and it feels like things might actually lean their way until Nerds activates on that flank and makes it a 1v1, because you have that low player left, and I mean, they're both trying to outthink each other. Respect to each player, trying to be a step ahead of the other, but in the end, it's Nerds who does not buy for a second that the bomb site has been vacated. Waits and finds his opportunity. Great idea for the flashbang, but it wasn't really on the money, and there was still full visibility for Nerds. Ultimate will get the first one here, and it will be an eco for Aurora.
There is a healthy respect to these pistols in Aurora's hands. Certainly for Liquid, you don't want to stumble over what should be the smallest of hurdles. Seems like we're getting an explosive A play. No flashbang behind it, so this should be relatively straightforward, but the op could be overwhelmed. It won't.
I mean, it's just a great setup, honestly, up against the pistols, having 3 players committed to bracket, the rifle there to activate if the shots are missed with the AWP from Ultimate, and, you know, they were a little bit. There's Twist right there to clean up the mess. And it even gives Ultimate a chance to activate once more alongside Naf. So, there's that 7th round. Here's the true test coming through for Liquid. Can they win this round and really make that comeback an actual conversation instead of just being big bunch of nothing?
He's saying the word. Look at this move from Shuei. It's all in. They're not going to be patient. They're not going to be reserved. With the game on the line, Shuei waiting for his moment on the flank. This might be Masher. Oh my goodness, Shuei, you found it all, but a smoke in your face. He's going to go through it. He's going to go through it. This will never be expected. How many targets can he stack? It's all about picking your timing. Flashbang for it. He's crept out. Someone turned.
No
and so
way.
Shuei only finds the one. Jokta. Preternatural sense there. Spidey sense tingling. Saves his team from what could have been disaster. Still Ultimate on the line. Connects on the one. They're trying to chase this down. The stack is here. But it falls to just Nerds. And Nerds deleted. Eternal. action here on B as Aurora lock in that bomb and leave everything on to NAF. There's no time for sloth in this. You got to get a move on. Zantares deep by tree will be unexpected, but a face around the fountain. Shots attempting to ring out, but utility comes through at the worst time. And so one to the temple. Zantares puts it through. Liquid's map pick is no more. Inferno claimed for Aurora.
Yeah, the comeback just whittled away there by Aurora. That's unbelievable from Jota. I cannot believe he turns around in that situation and realizes that a flank is on, just like you see, and heroic. And that heroic one happened right here in Dallas. Did lose a series, but still, this is the map they ended up taking. So let's see if they can do it again and secure their spot forward.
And certainly of any map in the pool, maybe the strongest indicator for D2 is how sharp your shooters are feeling that day. And the crew was feeling very good on the Aurora side on Inferno. So sharp shooting, so they can be a defining factor. Decoy. Throwing for the mid doors. There's a player right there, so they won't be too confused. But there's no one out towards long, so this is a very interesting setup indeed. The bomb's outside of B. Oh boy, look at this. They've drawn the whole nucleus for Aurora over towards this long fight. Understandably, they're trying to get engaged onto it. Now as these players flow into the tunnels, they might just find B's ripe for the taking. Full engagement, and Nert's getting that early kill is going to help sell it. This is such a wild pistol setup. Coming through from Liquid. Nert's dropped. But the ruse is not done just yet. They're realizing they've got the empty site. This bomb's going to get planted. And now can these players from long withdraw? They can indeed. You can see Twist is starting to back away. And Aurora are just now figuring out that they've been totally bamboozled. It means they're going to have to be wary of that top mid presence. But Shuei's going to go all the way around the world to do it. Twist just holding on some presence out towards long. He'll try and get that flank. Through from the ramp peak. Aurora don't want this. They don't want this. Wow. They know. They know. They were hoodwinked. They were bamboozled. They're stuck. There's no escape here, and the question is just how many sets of armor can they get out with Twists? We'll make sure it falls to just the one. Zantares is backing away, trying to keep himself alive, but Ultimate's going to swing right into the fray and make sure that there is nothing to have out of Aurora. Now that is a pistol strat.
I mean, Mike, yesterday we were talking about how pistol rounds aren't 50-50, and this is why. You come up with a strat like this, 3 players committed towards long, under almost every circumstance, you're going to see the entire team snowballing through. Aurora bites, hook, line, sinker, and immediately afterwards, Liquid just walk onto that B site, no one's home, they take control of it, and the greatest part about that is that 2 players are able to fall back for Liquid and fade off from that fight, which applies even more pressure to Aurora, as they think about going towards that B site, but at the end of it, there's just really no path there, and they try to save, but even that path is cut down by Twist. So beautifully played from Liquid to open up Dust 2.
Now, we do know Aurora is certainly a threat in these force buys. Got plenty of evidence about that on Inferno. Zantares has had his crosshair on a player, but doesn't pick his timing right. And once again, there is a path towards this A bomb site. Don't seize on it super quick, so there is a chance for the reset. Shuei gonna rumble Zantares. But Wakati brings one back through mid. Avoided the scout for the moment. Woxic's the next big threat. No smoke to block this. Instead, in towards CT, and Woxic can't find his footing. Gets the tag. How is that not the frag? And Twist instead brings it through, with Nerds chiming in too. Tough road for Aurora. Nothing to do in this one for Jota, but just wait and see if someone delivers him a slightly better gun.
None of the force by wackiness coming through in this one for Liquid.
I'd say that's probably a relief.
Yeah, I would say so too. Good for them not to have to deal with that. And I mean, just a great patience going up towards that A site. Eventually execute, and they find the frags that they need. Jota left his last one standing. Does spot the head. There we go. Well, it won't matter anyway. Ultimate will finish that off. And 4 players survive for Liquid. 3 of them rifles. That'll bolster their economy. It'll help them build up that confidence here going into round number 3. And it should be up against an eco.
Quick frag added from Nerds. We're not expecting much danger in this round, but it's always good to find the kills early.
Antares 5-7.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, Twist is gone. Tags on. Sure he deals with that. Now the danger should be gone from the round. Worst case scenario here is that Nerds gets killed and gives up the rifle, and Jota is able to save that. So that's what Jota's looking for. It's just an isolated fight. He'll have it, but he will not have the kill. Nope. With the start to this map, then Inferno took him a long time to get spun up there.
Oh yeah, I mean, at the latter part, we did see some moments from him, so that was good. Maybe he's using that to build up here in towards Dust 2. That said, it's only the first 3 rounds. There's still the guns that Aurora have yet to bring out. It will come through here. Still feeling good about themselves, as all has very much not been lost yet here on Dust 2. Arcadia, AWP in his hands. Excuse me, Woxic, what am I saying? Woxic with the off in his hands. Nerds looking for some visibility towards mid, but the smoke is blocking that off for the moment. He spams through it, but could just be a distraction, as it looks like Liquid want to move up towards Cat once more. Perhaps an opportunity to strike here as 2 players are leaning in towards CTs. Antares is quickly going to adjust, jumping onto those boxes, looking towards Cat. Great flashbang comes through, so that opens up a decent amount of space for Liquid if they want to push up, but for now they're not.
They're wary of these ops. They know they're likely out on the field, and certainly we know that there's 2. So they don't want to take their liberties here on the catwalk. Trying to bait out more of that utility response. They've done a good job of it so far. It's looking a little depleted over on the Aurora side. Oh, holding on to a molly from Majer. Should be a good piece to have late into this round. Seems like this is going to be a split in towards B. All top 4, Wakati on the angle with that op, and Jota, the second piece, the kicker. Ultimate's just trying to back away. Do they chase him down? Not yet, but now how do you actually get out of this? Nerds knows he's gained a ton of purchase here, but if Ultimate can get out with that C4, maybe there's a chance. He'll do so. Goes loud for it, has to sprint. Jota hot on his heels, but doesn't want to give up the audio cue, so can he get into lower fast enough? No. Whoo, tag onto Twists, but they are out of there. Gotta keep moving. Ultimate, you cannot stop now. And a quick punish for Twist, sticking around for a moment. Yes, he can't last longer, but he'll at least give his teammates a chance at the plant. Nerds dodging bullets, needs headshots. It's whack-a-mole here, but Ultimate can find a swing. Those cap boxes catch him off guard. And Aurora find their first.
I mean, honestly, the plant's kind of a miracle for Liquid. I'm surprised they even managed to make their way out of mid without taking casualties. Then Twist waits behind to catch one off guard, but in the end immediately traded. Then all the pressure's on those 2 players on A. They do service themselves pretty well in terms of getting that first frag, but he's too many bullets to deal with, and it all started really well. Wakadia, of course, actually did have the op. I wasn't going crazy, and it was the double op setup, but just so early. It's so rare to see that in CS2. Double op in round number 4, a very intense commitment in terms of the economy, but man, does it ever pay off here for Aurora, and both ops still standing out of that is fantastic.
It is always interesting to see the comms for Aurora. They're very boisterous at times,
yes.
and they're not afraid of being confrontational with each other, right? I mean, there's a lot of chemistry. These guys have been together for a long time, so Majer's never afraid of letting them know when he needs something to change. But it is always interesting to see those kind of comms coming off of a win, so something that they want to adjust. Maybe just the speed of the response, the speed of the chase in. We saw it at the end of Inferno as well. They're bringing it through the dub, and Woxic and Antares are still having a conversation about something they want to improve. It's a relentless mentality. Woxic improving the advantage here. Cannot catch that kill. Snappy shooting from Wakadia. A face in towards just too many players out towards long. Ultimate with it all to do. He can get the C4. He can collect on this, but Molotovs to make his life difficult, and Wakadia to catch.
I mean, look at how much impact the ops are having. Dust 2, we know that the op is so impactful because there's 3 places you can play it: straight up, long, mid, and the B site. And of course, being used beautifully. Wakadia was playing towards B, swings around. Naf honestly needs to get that because he has the advantage and he's waiting for that to come through. Just his shots and his crosshair placement weren't good enough. If he was at the head, there you go. 2 shots, boom, done. Have a nice day, Wakadia. But instead, it's Wakadia to recover and get that frag, which means that all the pressure lays upon the players that are trying to push their way up Cat. That doesn't work out either because Woxic is just looking sharp, and even Wakadia activating afterwards as well. So Liquid, despite that 3-0 start, once the guns come out, the problems arise again.
Ooh, little bomb spin for good luck. We're gonna need a lot of luck. We saw some Twisted Eagle magic at the tail end of Inferno. It would need to be pretty incredible here if it were going to happen.
Yeah. They're re-smoking long. I mean, there's really no chance for Liquid to gain any space there, and you see Aurora just letting Major keep that space for himself as they rotate back towards the site proper. And Liquid taking their time. They're hoping to find a pick, right? They're checking towards mid, checking towards Cat, seeing if some aggression comes through, but Aurora's giving them absolutely nothing.
It's going to be a pop on towards B. Pop being a little bit more figurative in this sense because they don't actually have anything to pop out for. No flashes. They're just going to burst onto the site and hope for the best. Jota will be hoping to stack up these ecos. Hold on, this might be a bomb plant. There's the door cross. Ooh, good luck. Gets a flashbang for it. Flashbang counter. Now you can't get past it. Too late.
Oh my god. What a shot from Woxic. Just when it was like, okay, yeah, they got a couple players through, managed to trade out those frags on the B site. Nope. Woxic denies the cross, and then Naf gets stuck a little bit too long. Even though he's got the AK picked up off the ground, he can't activate. That's a beautifully timed shot from Woxic. As 3-3, Aurora take care of business. Of course, that is just the anti-eco, and it's kind of the expected result for Aurora, but still, they look solid.
We got guns out now for Liquid.
Yes.
Quick shot though for ultimate, boosted up, catches Wakadia trying to get aggressive, looking for that fight. He's had a lot of success here through the mid doors. This time's not going to happen. Woxic gone too. Both Alpers out of play. Maja's been able to pick up one of those, but quickly the numbers are thinning, and it's all thanks to the Tomahawk missile. Heat seeking this one. And as a peek comes out of lower, Jota, I don't know that you want that heat. There's another scope on your angle. And if anything, the AK bullets warn him off, push him away. It's going to have to be Maja to do anything about this A-take. He's wary of the timing coming through from the long players. They're going for the gamble, though. Liquid have given it enough chance. Another timing might just work out. Maja back to it. Cannot find it on his first shot. Now they know that that op is something to be wary of. Second dip in. The bomb. They can't lose the bomb. Can't drop that over the lip. Now Naf activates. But it's up to Zantar as a chance at the clutch, and he'll take the first, and that drops the C4 down. It fell off of the platform. It has to be recovered, and Zantaras will now know there's no such thing.
No.
That's devastation. That is devastation for Liquid. That is a 5v3. That is the Opper missing twice, giving you the opportunity.
Yes.
And an overface into Jota here gives the chance back over to Aurora.
No, Jota did so much damage there, and then Zantaras, he's so good in these situations, it's absurd. 1v3, gets the first, finds the second, isolates the fight, and it's on top of that, it's the bomb that's dropped in that situation, so there's really so little that can be done, and he still waits and waits for his opportunity to strike on that last one and wins the 1v1 cleanly. It never felt like it was in doubt for Zantaras once he's put in that position. It's just completely unacceptable for Liquid. You get the first 2 frags, you have all the space in the world to work with, and then you overface in the fight with Jota for no reason at all. You don't have to. You can wait and go and plant the bomb and wait for them to come to you. Instead, they're eager to get frags for whatever reason it might be, perhaps nervousness, or they really feel like they need to activate a little bit sooner. And yeah, I mean, the result is another round for Aurora, 4 in a row, and no gun-on-gun round victories for Liquid, at least here on Dust 2. Major gets tagged there, so he's going to have to back off. Zantaras, ooh, Util in his hands, okay, could get caught, he does. Deagles are working so far. That's an upgrade available for them as well. Major under pressure, throws the nade and fades off in towards CT. That's a bomb plant.
He knew he had to. He knew he had to. Sardi tremendous at the time through that smoke for Shuei. Catches another. Now these players, they're forced in towards CT, and as soon as they realize, I mean, this is a pinch. This is a pull. There's no reason to face. There's no reason to face, but they're going to drop down. And it's all just on Amager. They didn't need to fight this, but they chose to. And as Amager tries to sweep out his sight lines, he will be overwhelmed. Guns picked back up. Recovery here for Liquid. They fumble on the guns, but finding magic on the pistols means now get a chance to continue this Dust 2 campaign.
Yeah, we saw these bursts of confidence from Liquid on Inferno with the pistols and finding something. Hopefully they'll have a follow-up afterwards. And even then, you even said it, Mike, they're facing and facing when they don't have to. It's just that eagerness for whatever reason to shut down their opponents with the guns when you could just wait it out and hide behind corners and give Aurora nothing. We'll see if Liquid make the correction here on their T side and hang back a little bit more. Aurora is going to have those 2 5.7s, 2 MP9s, and the AWP for Woxic, so it's a 4-spy coming through. Can't really blame them with the op-up. They're going to get aggressive into those B tunnels. Naf exposed and at risk. Nade goes out, has to fall off that fight. No point in dying isolated without a tradable opportunity. And you see Aurora, they're already trying to apply the pressure. Zantares was going to push through into mid if that smoke didn't come through.
Cuts us all the way into spawn. If they stall out at all, he's going to have a chance to capitalize. Just an MP9 to do so, but a back turned could be enough. They're making the bold moves. They got the players in the right place. The op is here. Masha's trying to block smokes. Trying to create gaps for his teammates to exploit. That can't be had. The op now revealed. Woxic, no quarter. Nowhere to bail out to. And provided this bomb gets off of long, the chance should be gone. There's a scope on his angle. Jota at least can slip the gap and a face back in. A bad miss, and suddenly this round's back in question. The MP9's finding their way. The bomb planted, ticking on down, but look at the damage that's been brought through. The health is getting low. Nertz can hold the line. Twist to follow it up. Falls to Zantares, but he's got his trusty AK, and Zantares finds the first on the spray. One more bullet needed for Twists. One more bullet needed, and Zantares again. Clutch after clutch. He will give Liquid nothing.
This guy's too good. He's just too good. 1v2 there. And I mean, look, so much damage being taken, and again, it's Ultimate missing those critical op shots. Two cracks at it. And he couldn't connect on it, and then gets traded out immediately. And after that, all that pressure is applied towards the car position, and you see Arcadia coming around with the AK, the MP9 trying to strike, Zantares waiting in the wings over at Cat to activate as soon as he's needed. And once he is in that 1v2, man, is he clinical once more. 5 rounds in a row for Aurora. Even when it looks like Liquid have something brewing, they've got those advantages. They can't hang on to them. And Aurora continue to punish. Correction, not 5 rounds in a row, but 5 of the last 6 for Aurora. And there's Woxic winning the fight against Ultimate and making it look clean in the process.
And now an advantage for Aurora, right? So many of these rounds, they've been behind the pale from the beginning. They've been trying to recover situations. They've been relying on clutches. Well, now things are settling back down. Tag through the door. Nothing substantial. They want to go through this. They want to go through this and go into what you'd imagine to be a split on towards B. No tunnel presence, so it's less of a split and more just a mid to B. Nobody playing close to this. And a re-smoke on to make absolutely sure they'll have no vision, but it's Wakati instead that they needed to be worried about here at the window and through the windshield. Jota eliminates 2. Naf alone. He's familiar with this spot, but it's a dire situation once again. 1v5, no scope, no hit, no round.
I mean, just walking out with no util available to you onto that B site and allowing clean fights to come through on the Aurora side. I mean, yes, you managed to take that space, but Wakadia not troubled at all. Jota waiting from car, sees all the bodies coming his way. He's going to hit that every single day of the week. And finally, a flash is there, but it's way too late. The timing is completely off. And it will be Aurora getting that 6th. And now Liquid, staring down the barrel of another one-sided end to a half. They need to get that 5th on the board.
All right, and we're back to desperation. Hero rifle
exactly.
out. Hero scout out. Only 2 sets of armor. They know they need to get something improbable to work out their way, so they will try. But Shuhei with the deagle and Twist with that hero rifle to follow it up. Now things are getting interesting. Where the guns might fail. You mentioned it before here, John. Sometimes the deagles can light the way. And now guns are getting retrieved. Extra rifles, extra firepower to this, but only the deagles required. Shuhei continues to knock targets off of heads. Woxic, the final boss here, holding court out towards long, but there's too many to find.
Just imagine if Liquid were running their gun rounds. That's all I can say. Wow, another great eco coming through. They catch them off guard towards long with a nice quick push. Great shot from Shuhei to activate. And it's great to see, honestly, Shuhei starting to hit some of these because, wow, even the second one is impressive because they need him for sure. Like he's that, like you said before, Mike, in the pregame, he's that fragging IGL that they need to be on his game for sure. And it hasn't really been that start. Maybe now we're seeing flashes of it. Perhaps he can awaken here on Dust 2 to bring them back into it. A 5th round is fantastic. Now the aggression comes through from Aurora. They go into lower, catch Naf by his lonesome, and then Woxic catches Nerds. They just collapse on mid.
This is the flip side of it, right? Is that as much as you might be able to bring through the 4 spies, well, Aurora are so happy to bring it back in turn. Aggression all the way. Suffocation from Aurora and a lead to send us to the break. Some moments, some explosion, but most of it coming through from Aurora. Every time that Liquid thought they'd pull forward into the lead, Zantares was there to shut them down, to dunk on them. A couple of critical clutches at impactful moments, and you could see the frustration creeping onto the face of Twists there, because it has been anything but easy for Liquid here on Dust.
Yeah, and their time could very well be over after this half if they don't awaken soon. And it's interesting, right? Because Liquid winning those eco rounds, those half-buy rounds, that's usually a catalyst to something more. Not to mention getting 2 of them in one half, but their gun rounds just lacked conviction every time. And of course, you can't take away what Zantares pulled off, a 1v4 and a 1v2. But still, you shouldn't have let Zantares put you in a position like that, because he isolates the 1v1s and there's really no trade available in any of those situations. Credit to him for doing it, but there's ways to counter that, and Liquid just weren't effective in that realm. All right, let's see here. Pistol round started. A win here for Liquid could erase a lot of that first half as they could build up some rounds.
It's actually crazy when you look at the total kill total that Zantares is even having kind of a normal map outside of those 2 clutches. By his standards, this is a very quiet one. But of course, just when they could have used a little bit of a quieter one, it comes through. Ultimate in trouble here. Flashbang good. Fight lost. Sight lost. Bomb down. Naf at least can bring back one, and Shuhei holds on to this presence out towards long. Wakadia is revealed, but it just means that these players from Sight are going to come try and find the pinch. He knows he needs to isolate this fight one way or another, and Shuhei eventually overwhelmed. But it doesn't mean they've totally given up this Sight.
Yeah.
The bomb's planted for them. They're content to play the firing squad. Though that firing squad will have 1 fewer number now. Twists knows he needs the fight. He's got a flashbang. He's got a kit. He could deploy it, but it's the 10-second defuse that they were on. No, Twist has come back over with the kit they got off of it. Has to stick. Has to pray that they can't find the shots that they need. And so far, they're going astray. The pistol round is Liquid's.
That is a very curious decision coming through from Aurora. I mean, I like the idea in general to put the pressure on the long player and have him distracted by the person in longhouse, but you don't need to send absolutely everyone. You can just send one player to come and put pressure on. Instead, they send all of them and no one left on the site. Yes, it's planted for you long, but you only have 1 USP, and if that USP doesn't connect, the Glocks are not great at that range. And you see the result is that Liquid, after picking up that kit off the ground for Twist, they managed to sneak through a round that felt like it was again leaning in Aurora's direction. So now, Aurora, off the bomb plan, still going to have a force buy. You have the Galil, 3 MAC-10s, and the Scout, but on the other side, there's 3 A1Ss.
Everyone got head armors as well. So yes. They've emphasized the hats here to avoid the headshots. Avoid those Mackies. The Galils. Good read of the situation. But you're still going to have to hit your shots, and we know how deadly Aurora are on these rounds. Naf is about to have a target-rich environment. A lot of damage. Kills, not quite yet, and they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed. This is a save. This is over. The B players needed to get some sort of impact to make this possible. And so it is immediately Aurora back into the lead, back into control. They never quite gave it up, but now they certainly won't be.
But it's like every time, that's the 3rd time Liquid win a round that can give you that emotional boost, that can give you that edge if you find the follow-up, and they fall flat once more on that B-site defense, and they were both rifles there. Both the A1Ss were there to defend, and they got absolutely nothing in terms of impact, run down by the MAC-10s and the Galils, and there you have it. Aurora just right back on the board, and when you have an opportunity to get that momentum, it's just not achieved. 8-6.
You know what kind of really would work there? Negev.
I knew you were going to say that, Mike.
I could be right there into the tunnels, fish in a barrel, a lot of bullets.
I don't know. Sure. Maybe.
I was feeling inspired because actually when we were watching that MLG Columbus piece, one of the highlights that they showed was a Liege with a Negev under balcony on B Mirage. I gotta say, the limitation of... I know it's not going to change at this point, but Valve, if you're listening, don't restrict the number of weapons we can have in the loadout. We need our Negev clips.
Yeah, that's one change that I wasn't necessarily embracing, is the fact that we have to limit the amount.
Not coming back now.
But let's not harp on it. It's never coming back. Which is
Never coming back.
It's on Terrace. He's coming back here into mid, and he'll lose the fight up against Twist.
So there's an opener. That would be how it would start. Again, they're trying to go for this B play, but this time Ultimate will be quick on the flank. Problem is, Ultimate has like all of the utility, and this is not exactly the spot where you can deploy it best. If they head down lower, could get a kill, drop a smoke, get out of there, but they're not going to. Instead, it's really going to need to be Naf with this MP9. Coming close up, what can he do? Nothing last time. This time, though, 1 damage onto the second. Ultimate snipes that bomb off of the flank, but speaking of sniping, Woxic's looking pretty good on the scope, and now he's got that C4 and he's out of there. The health is not good. Certainly Liquid are going to attempt this. On a stall out on this first phase. Scope's a little too close up. Molotov can keep them out of this. But it might just give him a chance at the plant. There's no presence in towards mid. They're leaving. They're leaving. They're trying to totally reset these angles of engagement.
Oh, this is smart.
So Woxic will be back and around, and Jota is that Joker here in the middle of the map. With Sneaky Wildcard in the deck. Here's these footsteps. They have no idea. They have no idea. Nert's knife out, gives it to him. Shuhei can at least deal with that 1-for-1, but now Woxic has all the time in the world to watch this bomb. Planted it for himself. Certainly knows that on the face. They've got no smoke to cover this. They do have the kits, but they need to get on it sooner rather than later. And Woxic expects the first phase to come from low. He's read this beautifully. And so his scope will pluck away too. Again, Liquid, it cannot close.
Yeah, another man advantage slips through their fingers, and, you know, Naf did a good job to at least get one, but that's a nice shot from Woxic. Then this decision, right? You have 2 players left, and, you know, 3 that are barreling down in your direction. You think, okay, well, let's stick together. No, they make the ballsy choice to send one into that cubby at mid, waiting for the rotation to come through, because they know all 3 players are there, and it pays off. Sure, you know, you only get 1 and the damage on the next, but it helps that your planter get all that space, make sure it's planted for long, and then you go into pit. No smokes available for Liquid at that point. Probably expecting utility to be a little dry, honestly, if you're on the Aurora, and so you take that chance. And man, oh man, beautiful shots from Wox again. 3K on the round, and a 9th round for Aurora. Just Liquid letting so many man advantages slip away throughout this entire series.
Took a risk here. It hasn't paid off. This bomb will go down with no contest on the A site. Starting to get adventurous in towards the tunnels. Maybe they could find a pinch on Zantares. Sure, if he goes through those doors, he's going to be in trouble. Naf is still a little bit of a problem, but with just an MP9, those range engagements don't favor him. Zantares is able to take the first, anticipates the Shuhei swing. Gonna try and make this messy, but the kills continue to stack up for Aurora. Shuhei, though, not fracking IGL, the difference maker here, and now they need to adjust the defense. Major and Woxic trying to get out towards the ramp.
Are they saving?
They're saving. They're backing away. They know without the kits, it's very unlikely they'd be able to bring this through, so they are going to concede. You'd imagine Aurora might be going up in smoke with this bomb. We'll see how far they can get away from it. Well, they can indeed. But it is going to be Liquid doing damage, finding AKs, but unable to take the round.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of lacking of conviction, I would say, in terms of that retake. Like, you get the frags really quickly. Yes, there's no kit, but maybe you can storm onto the site. But they take that moment to like, are we going for it? And that second you take to think about if you're going for it is enough that you won't even have a chance anymore with that full 10-second defuse required. So, yeah, it's good. I mean, they get the AK saved over. Definitely a plus for them on that round. It bolsters the defense immensely. But they need rounds now. You know, 10-6 in favor of Aurora. They're 3 rounds away from eliminating Liquid here from IEM Dallas.
Those 2 player cams were the perfect contrast of star fragger mentality versus IGL mentality. Zantares 9 and 10, a little disappointed with his own performance. Major like, yeah, boys! Sitting down there at 3. However they get it done, wherever the kills come from, all Major cares about is the round win.
Cat control going to be conceded. The ultimate will put a little bit of utility downrange. This nucleus of players here in middle starts to shift up. They're well positioned for the B split. Twist's a bit of a problem here, but he has to pick his timing. He has to pick it perfectly, and they are straight in towards B. Spray all over. They don't even realize it yet. Now they've been rumbled, but which way do you turn? Naf bails them out. Twist chiming in for one on that flank, and it falls just to Woxic, who knows this one's a non-starter. As many improbable clutches as have occurred. There's 5 players alive. They haven't taken a bullet of damage. And the fast-paced take from Aurora meets a wall of Liquid.
Yeah, finally a round where Liquid can claim victory with the guns out on both sides. A lot of these wins, in fact, most of them have been coming through either in pistol rounds or in the eco. And this one, fairly convincing. Yeah, that's fantastic for a CT side. So they put themselves in a good position to mount a comeback here up against Aurora. But it's not just about the hardware they've been employing. It's been about the aim, about the strategies, and they haven't really had the answer up against Aurora. And you see, they're still quiet, even in a round victory. Very, very silent there on that Liquid side.
Yeah, I would say the woos we're hearing feel a little forced still.
Yeah.
Need to get the good vibes flowing. A couple more round wins might just lead to that. Some praise coming through from their new IGL. Shuhei. Also, Antares wants to fight. It's a target-rich environment. Everybody's here, but through the smoke go Liquid, and this long take is a non-starter. Shut down once again. 3 kills stacked up for Twists. And that means Aurora are going to have to sit back on their haunches once more.
I mean, overconfidence much here, Aurora? Just 2 straight hits, 1 out into B, and then 1 straight out into long. And Liquid's like, okay, look, we haven't been playing well here so far, but let's have some respect. And Aurora quickly, well, going to have to give them that. No questions asked, as they're on a save with a full minute and 3 seconds left on the clock here, trying to keep the op and the Galil up.
And at some point, Liquid are going to realize this. And you imagine they might be a bit more motivated in towards the hunt. It's not an absolute necessity at this point. Again, 5 AKs are real nice. But hey, why not get an op? Send somebody out to hunt. 30 seconds. I don't think they believe that this is a save just yet.
Yeah.
Discretion
Probably
the better
not.
part of valor on that as well, because imagine if they overextended and found that they get punished.
I would even argue in the direction of saving, not going for the chase here for Liquid because of the value you have in your hands with those 5 AKs, and you don't want to give up any of them.
So they won't. They will allow the long and lengthy 1.5-minute save to come through.
Counter-terrorists win.
And Aurora, well, they had a lot of time to think about this next round strategy.
I love how vocal they are. Really fun to watch. Anyway, 10-8 in favor of Aurora, and they're going right back into the force buy. Okay, I mean, yeah, you have the 2 saved guns. I guess the economy is a little bit weird. Full loss bonus not yet kicking in. But this is an interesting decision on their side. 3 rounds in a row where they've just decided to go balls to the wall with the buy-ups.
Especially with the 2 saves, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You've got some weaponry through here. You've got enough to go for a site take. We know that they can make these MAC 10s work. We know they can make the Tech 9 work.
They're slowing it down as well.
But we have really well and truly gotten into a full contest here. They lose here. It's presumably an eco. It's presumably a tied scoreline. The ball is in Liquid's court. Timing on that incendiary is good, but spacing is better. They find the gap. Twist trying to come through to the rescue. He'll do exactly that. And this is where that incendiary sectioning off a player works out. Twist tucks into the corner. They know he's here, but he swings into the fray. Still the op shot lands. And when does Antares activate? Right now! A critical kill. Impact as we have seen. It falls to Shuhei, the new man. The captain of the squad. Now he's got to prove himself in front of his boys. Coming out the window. Here's the approach. Can't find the headshot. Presented the opportunity. Woxic is so low, but he's got that op. He just needs the one shot. And Majra with a reposition. And a re-smoke. That makes this so challenging. Shuhei trying to play his angles, but Majra anticipated that. And so Shuhei's just going to back away. He has to risk this. There's so much on the line in this round. But he's been given nothing. A reapproach back in.
There's no time now.
Through the window. Narrowest of margins. He's hoping to pull off of the site. Maybe give him a chance. They will indeed. The punish, it matters. He can't win this round. But he can make sure that no one survives through. Majra does.
Oh, wow.
2 HP, he survives.
Just barely, and with the most important piece in the round, the AWP. But look here, we need to have a conversation about this incendiary because, like, it is so meaningless sometimes. They throw the incendiary, perfect timing, like, yeah, just run through it, doesn't do any damage anyway. So, you know, the frags come through for Aurora, and it's tough when you're CT side and you're throwing the right util, but it's not really having the impact you're hoping for. And, you know, frustration for Liquid once more, no question. Aurora did a great job overloading that site with the MAC-10s, as we already alluded to. They've done it a couple of times so far here on Dust 2. Great opener from Nerds with the AWP. Double ops finally coming out for Liquid. Finally had enough money to employ that. 5v4 edge, not done yet. Ultimate's looking for something into lower tunnels. I don't know if he spotted that player, but now he throws the nade. It does a little bit of damage to Zantares, but he's not going to be deterred at all in his hunt.
There's looking for that next engagement, that next target. Might have it. Woxic here. Coming down mid. In the crosshair of Nerds. He finds it first. Elbow peeking around the corner. That's enough to find the head. And now Nap has to hold the line at B. Only one. Only one. Don't know that that's enough. Smoke to block Woxic. He wants to go through. Pick your timing. Woxic. And he's chosen poorly. That box was a little too thick, ultimate.
Yeah.
It would have been on if there weren't a few bricks in the way. The stone of those bricks will shield Zantares' dome. And Zantares, he wants to push around. He wants to find the brawl. Ultimate to jump up at the wrong moment, but the swing back out. Caught by Shuhei. It falls to Akadia. Faces on the first. Most of his health. He needs the headshot here. Shuhei dancing around the box. This time, this clutch must be attempted. The round's still in doubt. And there's time enough. He has to find that bomb. He has to find that bomb. I don't think he has it.
No, I don't think so.
Is it too far gone? He's just got it.
Oh my god. Maybe half a second left on that as Shuhei survives the round and manages to find a way to squeeze it through for Liquid. I like the adjustment for Liquid, right? Because Aurora have caught them like 3 times, right, from that mid position. Finally, they're looking at it like, wait, he's coming. And there he is. So they catch him off and make their retake a little bit simpler, but it comes down to the 1v1, and Shuhei, even though he gets that frag and has a little bit of trouble finding the bomb, still wins out the round, and then 9 secured for Liquid, so we are definitely on here. Aurora tries to go for that quick play towards long, and it works this time. Liquid not challenging that much. They're going to fall off of this. So the space gained for Aurora. Adjustments made on Liquid. They're going to send 3 players to defend the A site. 1 watching cat, 2 defending long.
Flashbang set up a peek, but Zantares was waiting for that. Nimbly dodge, Shuhei gone. And again, these limited buys do not slow Aurora down, not a jot. Trying to find the moments on the smoke pops, but no one's crossed just yet. They've got to be wary. Can't let these things fade. There's nothing else to cover it off. Last smoke deployed, and now they walk. In here to create some space, but ultimate, he spotted a player, couldn't get the kill, and in the flames he will burn. On the edge of the smoke, gone is Twists. And just like that, the defense evaporates. They have been dispelled, cast out of this site, and so Aurora, off of the wounded weapons Series point on deck, even with this low HP. The kills that they found from Nertz and Naf, they might just allow the save, but they will not be affording them the round.
Yeah, Aurora trying to chase aggressively, so I mean, credit to Liquid to damage their economy still. Like, it's not stabilized at all on the Aurora side, but they're so hungry to make life difficult for Liquid on the other side that, yeah, they chase. And I guess it pays off in the end because it's only Naf left standing, and the money, oh my god, it is absolutely
abysmal.
Yeah.
It is in the toilet here, John. They are broke as broke can be. Fittingly for this series, it's going to come down to a forced buy.
Oh boy. Well, this is when Liquid has done their best work. You see the frustration for Twists. You can't really blame him the way this match has trended. Every time they get that round, every time it feels like something is going their way, immediately afterwards, Aurora just stomps right through them. Getting 2 rounds strung together has been a real challenge for Liquid.
No free lunches. No free lunches for Liquid.
Yeah.
No easy rounds. Every moment, Aurora are just ready to snatch their hope away. Do or die time. Liquid's fate at the Intel Extreme Masters Dallas, it hangs in the balance. A chance to play before their home crowd. The players, they may come from different lands, but the Org will always have a home in Dallas, in NA, and they might not get a chance to see it. Jota looking to be the tip of that spear, plunged into the side of Naf, and so he bleeds, and so the B site is opened. An advantage for Liquid in the numbers, but the bomb plant cannot be denied, and through the door, through the smoke, Woxic finds one. And so the pieces are falling off the board here for Liquid. They need a master stroke. Some sort of magic move, and instead it's Wakadia making it that much more difficult. Chipping away at the health. A retake will be on, but they have to wait for these smokes. There is no kit here, John. It's dire. So here comes the util. Here comes the exchange. Wakadia brings it down to just the one. It's all on Nertz. It's all on Nertz, and Woxic will not let him through that window. This is Aurora's site. This is Aurora's map, and Aurora are fighting here in Dallas.
Oh man, Aurora move on. Liquid are out, and it's